One, if you guys can definitely hear me, then let me know. Let me know if you can see my screen. Give me a one. Give me a one in the chat if you can see my screen. All right, so everybody can see me, everybody can hear me. Let's friggin' go, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, my name's Adore Sanya, and today, we are going to learn, or rather, I'm gonna teach you how we remotely virtually flip 5+ deals every month without having to actually fix up any properties, without having to qualify for financing, or without even having to meet the homeowners. All right, so kind of quick housekeeping before we get rolling here. One, as you've seen, right, this is a straight positive 100%, 1000% energy zone. We're not doing any negativity today. So it's unfortunate that I have to say this, but if you're here to troll, or if you don't even believe real estate really works, or if you think real estate is a scam or whatever, I encourage you to leave right now, right? So that you're not distracting folks. And if you are, if we do see you in the chat, like talking crazy or anything like that, my team will remove you. Please, this is a Sunday, guys. We're here for straight up positive energy, positive vibes. Next up, note takers are money makers, right? So I'm going to be covering a lot of ground today. I'm sharing with you guys a lot of stuff. It would almost be criminal for you not to be taking notes. So make sure you've got your pen and a pad. Also, make sure you stay till the end. There will be a Q&A session at the end. At the very end, hold your questions. I got a lot to cover with you guys, so I can't stop in the middle to answer questions, but hold your questions till the end. Also, I'm going to do a little trivia slash money giveaway at the end as well. So guys, ladies and gentlemen, there has never been a better time than right now, right here today, to get into real estate investing. And I know some of you guys are like, wait, why? You know, it's a lot of crazy stuff going on right now. The economy might start to be bad. Like, why would now be the best time? So I'm going to direct you to the Wall Street Journal, right? So this is actually an article directly from the Wall Street Journal where it says real estate investors eye potential bonanza in distressed sales, right? And the article then goes on to say a growing number of property investors are preparing for what they believe could be a once in a generation opportunity to buy distressed real estate assets at bargain prices. Guys, you might want to take a screenshot of this or put this in your mental Rolodex, right? This right here, because we're actually going to circle back to this. But I want you to remember this. So my goal today is to empower you to be able to create your own economy, right? So give me a one in the chat, right? If just if you realize that, you know, ever since March of 2020, life has been crazy, right? Corona hit, everything is crazy. There's so much uncertainty. People are losing their jobs, this, that, and the third. My goal today, I'm gonna, be very real with you guys. I'm not the guy that's gonna be showing you rented Lamborghinis and rented mansions and shit like that. That's not my thing. My thing is I'm here to show you how to create your own economy, which allows you to be insulated from pandemics, recessions, and eliminates you from having to be solely dependent on 9-to-5 income. How many of you guys realize ever since, this Corona thing hit, even if you had a really good job, that you can't solely be dependent on just your 9-to-5 income? Give me a one in the chat if you realize that. So my commitment to you guys today is to deliver 1000% value to you. We've got a short amount of time together here. I realize, it's a Sunday. So in this time, I'm going to try to deliver as much value as I can, really show you like strategies that if you put in place can literally change your life. Here is what I want you to commit to. First commitment, I want you to commit to locking in with me right now with no distractions, no Instagram, no Netflix, no MySpace, no Facebook, all right? Because I might share something with you that literally was meant to change your life, but could completely go over your head. So give me a 1 in the chat if you're going to lock in with me with no distractions. Next, I want you to understand that thoughts become things. So I don't want you to go through this training today kind of looking like, oh man, that's cool, that's great. No, that's not what we're doing. I want you to process this information today that I'm sharing with you, and I want you to see yourself doing everything that I'm showing you, because ultimately thoughts become things, right? So if you can see it in your mind, you can ultimately hold it in your hand. So I'm going to share with you guys today a lot of success, a lot of money, testimonials, deals. And I want you guys to ask yourself the question, every time you see something that's interesting to you, why not me? Why not me? And ultimately, you'll realize that there's no reason that it can't be you. So let me ask you guys a question. And this is an A or B thing, just to get a feel for who's in here and what you guys value. So would you rather learn real estate from, let's say, person A, right? So person A is someone that, maybe they've done like a couple of deals, or they just started doing real estate like last year or the year before last, and kind of decided, oh man, it's actually easier to sell people real information than actually do it? Or would you rather learn from person B? Person B is me, by the way, from someone that's actually been on the front line in the trenches for over 10 years, actually doing this business in real life? Let me know in the chat. Okay. I see you guys value that. So I realize some of you guys might know me, but a lot of you guys probably don't know me. So there's always that question of like, yo, who the hell is this guy? Does he really know what he's doing? Does he know what he's talking about? So I'm gonna take you just on a little trip here, right? So if you pay close attention to the screen, this is a check from 2010, right? So like I said, I've been doing this business for a very long time. I'm not just some guy that randomly hopped on the internet and is trying to sell or teach something that I don't know about. Here's another one from 2010, $48,000. Here's another one from 2010, $38,000. Here's one from 2011, $40,000. Here's one from, 2014. This is actually the most amount of money that I made just in the sum of one day. So I've been doing this for a long time, and guess what? I'm still doing it right here, right now, today, right? So if you pay close attention to the dates on these things, right? So this is kind of what qualifies me to be here, so to speak. So not only have I been doing it for 12 years now, for the past 8 years, I've been teaching people just like you guys how to make money flipping properties that they do not own. So to date, so I've made a lot of money in this business, but actually what I'm more so proud, what I enjoy even more is that my students combined have made multiple 7 figures in this business. So students like right here, my guy Brian made $16,000 on his first deal. Give a little congratulations to Brian, by the way. Here's another one, Ben, one of my students made $8,000 on this deal here. Here's another one, Anthony, holding a $5,000 check at a closing. A little congratulations to these guys. And once again, remember the question to ask here is, why not me? These guys they're not smarter than you. They're not special. Ask yourself that question. Why not me? Here's another one of my students, Brian, says got an $8,000 check. No out-of-pocket money from me. Here's another one of my students, Arthur, $20,000. I just closed my biggest deal to date, $20,000. Here's another one of my students, Leonard, super excited. I made $7,500 and I used everything that you taught me. Remember the question here, guys. I'm not here to stun on you. I'm not here to flex on you. What I am here to do is friggin' expand your mind and help you realize that you can absolutely do this. So what I'm gonna show you guys today, I'm gonna show you how to create time and financial freedom for you and your family. I'm going to show you how to insulate yourself financially from crisis, recessions, pandemics. I'm going to show you how to remotely flip houses without ever needing to physically go see them. And I'm going to show you how we close $5,000 to $20,000+ deals without ever having to own the property, put any money down, or make any repairs. So some of you guys might be asking, why are you here? Like, why are you? I see you know what you're doing. Your students have been successful. Why are you here though? One, there is so much misinformation out here. It's like the blind leading the blind. Two, and which is very important, you have to realize you are not my competition. I repeat, you are not my competition. I operate with what I call an abundance mentality. All right, so also let's do the math. There are literally 90+ million single family homes in the United States. That's literally enough houses for everyone that's on this training right now to make a fucking $1 million. Give me a 1 in the chat if you understand that. All right, so there's no competition here, guys. If you're operating with a competition mindset, you need to change that right now. Also, there's so many people, especially, not to get deep here, but people that look like me that don't even know that this opportunity exists, right? Literally dozens of people in my DMs every day that did not even know that they could friggin' do real estate. So I'm here to deliver massive value to you guys. And look, I believe in like 1,000% transparency. So I'm be honest with you guys. I only have somewhere between like 60 to 90 minutes of time with you guys today. I can't share everything that I've learned with you guys over a decade in 90 minutes, right? Give me a 1 in the chat if you understand that, right? So look, for those of you guys that want to take this to the next level, I'm going to show you how to do that at the end of this training, right? It's not mandatory. You don't have to work with me, but for those of you guys that do want to do that, I'm going to show you how, right? So now you don't have to be anxious. Oh my God, is he going to sell something? Yeah, I am. And it's okay, guys. It's okay. But I want to be transparent with that. So look, let's go. So who's this for? Complete newbies, existing business owners, active investors, people that are tired of their 9 to 5. One thing I must share with you, this is not a get rich quick zone. This is not a get rich quick zone. So if you came here thinking like I was going to teach you how to push some magical button, and it's going to like just spit out cash at you, you're in the wrong place. All I know how to do is put in work. However, the work that I know how to put in has resulted in making millions of dollars. Give me a 1 in the chat if you're willing to put in work, if it means you're making tens of thousands of dollars all the way to millions of dollars. Give me a 1 in the chat if you're cool with that kind of work. All right, perfect. All right, so you guys are my kind of people then. My kind of people then. Now, who am I? Once again, my name's Adora Sanya. I came into the game. I started my real estate investing career 2007. So for those of you that are wondering, man, is now a good time and we might be going into a recession? Maybe I should hold off on real estate. Guys, I started in 2007 in the heart of a recession. And since then, I've done over 500 transactions. All right, so I've bought, sold, controlled over $25 million worth of real estate. But when I was starting out, I fell into what I call the real estate myths. How many of you guys, give me a 1 if you've heard these things. In order to do real estate, you need a real estate license. In order to do real estate, you need to buy the house. In order to do real estate, you need down payments. You need to fix the house. Have you guys heard all these things? I did too. When I was starting out, I had to learn the hard way, unfortunately. So when I was a sophomore in college, attending Temple University, my big plan, I'd always been interested in real estate. My big plan was, and with my best friend at the time, we said, look, I'm tired of school. I want to drop out, but let's do this. Let's get a school loan but let's not use the loan to go to school. Let's get a school loan and let's buy a house with that loan, and we'll buy the house, we'll fix it up, and we'll resell that house. So this is my $1 million plan. I dropped out of school and we got the loan. We went to an auction. We bought a house for $40,000, right? And we said, look, we'll probably, spend about $25,000 to fix the property up. And man, I'm a very visual guy. So I already saw myself selling this property, making tons of money. I already saw myself pulling up the campus with a Bentley or everything. So we bought this house. Day one, we had a contractor come through and he's like, all right, I'll fix the property up for you for $20,000. So I'm like, all right, cool. So he's like, all you need to do is pay me. So we pay the contractor and boom, day two, it's time to get started on the work. Contractor ran off on the plug, man. The contractor disappeared. We paid this contractor and this guy we never saw this guy again. So we lost $20,000 before any work was done. And ultimately, guess what, guys? You don't know what you don't know. So when you're doing a traditional fix and flip, there's so many things that you have to get right. You have to buy at the exact right price. You have to buy in the exact right location. You have to have the exact right money to buy. You have to hire the right contractors, hire the right real estate agent, and we didn't do any of that right. So our mistakes, we overpaid for this property. We bought this property for 40. With the experience I have now, we probably should have bought the house for like 10. We underpriced the rehab budget. We thought we could fix this whole house for 20 grand when it really should have been like 60. And we had no clue what we were doing. So on this first deal, I had a barely finished house in the middle of the hood, no money to complete it, and a broken friendship, right? So imagine being like 20, 21 years old, having these kinds of financial issues. So my friend and I, we ended up going our separate ways. At this time, I had dropped out of school. I dropped out of college. Now, let me give you guys some context here. So I'm Nigerian. So my parents brought me to America when I was 5 years old, okay? And I don't know if any of you guys in here are African, Nigerian, or maybe if you just have friends that are foreigners. If so, then you know that pretty much most foreigners bring their kids to America just so that they could get a higher education. And I dropped out thinking I was going to be a real estate millionaire, only to end up having to move back home to New Jersey with my parents and having to get a job. Can you imagine that? Like, this is one of the most depressing times of my life. I felt like a failure. So I actually had to go get a job as a residential group home counselor. One of the most challenging jobs ever, by the way. And I'm sitting here at this job. How many of you guys, especially if you work a job right now, you just feel yourself in this this rat race, this cycle where it's like you go to work, you work the job, you come home, go to bed, wake up, go back to the job. And I'm literally sitting here like, nah, this can't be life. This absolutely cannot be life. So I thought I was done with real estate, but I started looking back into it because I'm like, yo, there's no way I could go the next 30, 40 years on this rat race. So one night, I'm up late night, and I bumped across this real estate forum. And on one of the threads, I see these people that are talking about how they're flipping houses. And I'm like, okay, well, I tried that already. That didn't work. But they're talking about how they're flipping houses, but without having to own them. And I'm seeing these people, like, they're showing like checks that they got from these deals, from deals in houses that they didn't own and didn't fix up. So I'm like, yo, what the heck is this? So I start to dig deeper, and the strategy these guys were talking about is called wholesaling. And it turns out one of the guys was actually located in Philadelphia. So I contacted the guy, literally begged this guy to meet up with me. And he finally agreed. His name is Steve Washington. And I'll never forget this day. I meet up with Steve at Temple University campus in North Philadelphia. And this guy showed me, he had just come from closing a deal. And this guy showed me a $34,000 check from a wholesale deal that he made from a property that he didn't own, he didn't fix or anything. And I'm losing my mind. So I'm asking this guy like millions and millions of questions, and I'll never forget this. This guy's like, yo, I understand you got a lot of questions. I'm gonna let you ask a couple more, but after that, you gotta pay. And I stopped dead in my tracks. So back then, I was broke, right? I was broke, but one thing that I wasn't, guys, I wasn't poor. So you know what poor is? Poor is not what you think it is. Poor is passing over opportunity repeatedly. So this guy, Steve Washington, basically told me in order to like learn his strategy and how he was doing this stuff, he would charge me $2,000. And I looked at him. I didn't think twice. To be honest, I didn't have $2,000, but I did have like a little student credit card thing. And I said, let's do it. And it's literally one of the best decisions that I ever made in my life. So I decided to go all in at that point. You know, he started teaching me stuff and I literally just, started implementing. I was putting out signs, putting flyers on people's doors, all types of stuff. And I'm be honest with you, nothing happened immediately, but a couple months down the line, I'm sitting at work and I get a phone call from a property owner. This guy, older guy, owned a property in South Philadelphia, but he lived in Maryland. And he told me that he just wanted to get rid of the house. So I did my research and I offered him $38,000. And the guy said yes. So I'm like, oh, sheesh. So what do I do next? So I rushed to a local beauty supply store and I faxed him a purchase agreement. Shout out to all my people in here that are old enough to have ever used a fax machine. So I faxed this guy a purchase agreement and then he faxed it back. Then I hit up this investor that I had met online on the same forum and I told him about the deal and he said he would buy it for $43,500. So literally 30 days later, I'm at a closing table in South Jersey. And I'll never forget this because I had to borrow my mom's car to get to the closing. And I got a $5,500 check. At that time, my annual salary with overtime was $38,000. So I literally made 14% of my annual salary for what was probably 2 hours of work. So from there, I was hooked. I'm like, oh man, I gotta keep going. So 3 months in, I had made over $30,000 and I still didn't know what I was doing. Like I was just literally freestyling, but I was still able to get deals done. And the crazy thing about all this, guys, all of the deals that I was doing were in Philadelphia, but I was still living in my parents' basement in Piscataway, New Jersey. So with this strategy, I didn't buy any of these houses. I wasn't using any of my credit. I didn't personally see the properties. I didn't have a license. And this is where it all started at for me. And 12 years later, the result, like me going like all in and ultimately like deciding to go full time with this, I've been able to fully travel the world, been able to take care of my family, been able to get married, been able to have my wife, not have to, work like a traditional 9-to-5 job, even though I'm sure you ladies will agree, like just being a mom and a wife is a full-time job in itself. But guys, I got into this game for 3 things: family, legacy, and insulation. So remember, I told you guys, I'm not the guy that's going to be showing you bags of cash or Lamborghinis or anything like that. This is much, much, much more deeper than that. Imagine having a business in place where you are insulated from whatever's going on, right? Whether it be pandemics, recessions, whatever's going on, being able to have a business in place that you're still able to generate revenue. What would that look like in your life? That's what I'm here to share with you guys today, guys. And how we're going to do that is via the 3 secrets. So Secret number one, I can make more money than investors who buy, fix, and traditionally sell properties, and I never even have to own the property. Secret number two, I've made millions of dollars using information that's available to everybody, yet barely no one uses. Secret number three, you can get people to sell you their house without ever meeting them and without having any prior real estate or sales experience. So secret number one, so let's think about real estate from the traditional way. The traditional way is you buy a house, you fix the house up, then you sell or you rent the house. And that's great. However, with the traditional way, here's what comes with that. You got down payments anywhere from 5 to 20% down payments. So you need tens of thousands of dollars. You need great credit because you're going to need to get loans. And you need to hire the right contractors. And even with all that, you still need a little bit of luck. And even with all of that, you're talking about 3 to 6 months to cash out. So this automatically disqualifies most people. So here's the new way. And this is what I call control without ownership, AKA wholesaling. So let me ask you guys a question to really make this relatable. Give me a 1 in the chat if you've ever been in an Uber. Give me a 1 in the chat. Give me another 1 if you've ever been in an Airbnb. Well, guess what? Uber is the biggest taxi company in the world, but they don't own any of the vehicles. Airbnb is the largest hotel company in the world, but they don't own any of the hotels. So this is a billion-dollar business model. So what we're doing is we're literally controlling real estate with just a piece of paper. And the legal term, so that you guys really understand this, what's happening is called an assignment of contract. So let's break this down. Remember, I told you guys to take notes. An assignment of contract occurs when one party to an existing contract, which is the assignor. This is you, by the way. So remember, thoughts become things, right? So put in the chat, I am the assignor. So what happens is the assignor is handing off the contract's obligations and benefits to another party, which is the assignee. Ideally, the assignor wants the assignee to step into their shoes and assume all of the contractual obligations. So here's a pro tip. We are not selling houses. We're simply controlling houses via a contract and then selling that contract to a buyer who does have the ability to pay cash, right? So here are the parties that are involved in a wholesale transaction. You've got the seller, that is the property owner. You've got you, right, the wholesaler / assignor. You've got the investor who's actually going to be purchasing the property. Then you've got the title company / attorney who's going to be facilitating this transaction for you. So with this new way, you're not putting there's no down payments. Anyone can do it. I don't care if you're black, orange, purple, green. You can do it regardless of where you come from. You're not having to buy the house. There's no loan, so therefore there's no credit needed, and you don't need any licenses. So here's some case studies, guys. These are real life, actual completed deals, right? So you drop a what do young kids say these days? Drop a no cap in the chat. Here you see the actual addresses right here, 1708 North Bailey Street. Contract price, $30,000. This is the price that the seller agreed to take for the property. The investor price, $48,000. That's the price that we sold the deal for. So we made $18,000 on this one deal, okay? Here's another one, 4823 North Carlisle Street. Contract price, $24,000. Investor price, $30,000. So our profit on this deal, $6,000. Here's another one, 3024 Redner Street. Contract price, $105,000. Investor price, $120,000. So we made $15,000 on this deal. And I have to mention to you guys, I've never physically seen any of these properties. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Do you want to see the contracts that pull this all together? Give me a 1 in the chat if so. Or, I can keep breezing through if you guys are, it's up to you guys. Give me a 1 in the chat if you want to see the contracts that pull this all together. Okay. Oh, so you guys trying to learn today, huh? Okay. All right, give me a second. Let me pop out. Give me 1 second here. All right, so here we go. What you guys are looking at right now is a purchase agreement. This is the agreement that we use with a homeowner, right? That they sign this contract. And once they sign this contract, this gives us what we call equitable interest. So what you're looking at right now, this is an actual real life executed contract, by the way, right? So look, I'm going to walk you guys through this real quick. Pay attention to this. Here's the property address, 6026 West Oxford Street in Philadelphia. So right here, we got this deal December 31st. And then this right here is the contract price. So the seller agreed to take $82,000 for this deal, okay? So now I'm going to show you guys something else in here, because I know one of the big concerns with a lot of people is like, oh man, what happens if, you can't find a buyer, you have to get out of the deal. So I pay attention right here to line number 6, right? Line number 6, this is what we call an inspection contingency. So this line right here basically gives us the ability to basically back out of this deal in X amount of days and nothing will happen. All right, so that's basically your protection in this deal, line number 6 right here. So you see here, you got the seller's initials, you got my initials, and boom, here are the actual signatures. So this right here gave us equitable interest. Now here's what we do next. Let's take this a step further. So now we got this property under contract. Now here is the second contract. This is the assignment of contract. So we got this deal, right? So remember, you are the assignor. So this is us right here, and we assigned it to this guy right here, okay? And here's the same property address. So you guys know this is real stuff that we're talking about here. So remember, we got the deal for 82, right? Now we got the buyer. The buyer agreed to buy the deal for $94,000. So all that's happening on this contract is essentially we're selling this paper essentially for $12,000. Now, here's the next step. Let's take it even deeper. Now, here is the real deal. This is called a settlement statement. This is called a settlement statement. This is what you get prior to the actual closing. You're going to get this from your closing company, whether it be a title company or an attorney. All right. So keep in mind here, look at this. This is the same address, 6026 West Oxford Street. Here is the title company that closed this deal for us. Right now, here you see right here, $82,000. That's the contract price. Now, the most important thing on this piece of paper, let me show you. Line number 1304. This right here. You see this dollar amount right here, $9,600. That is what we made on this transaction. $9,600. Now, I know some of you guys might be wondering, wait, Adore, I thought it was supposed to be $12,000. So here's what happened for this particular deal. And this also answers one question that I know you guys will definitely have is, how do you find the buyers for these deals? So for this particular deal, we had a real estate agent that actually brought us a buyer that was willing to pay more than all of the other buyers that we had. So we agreed to pay this real estate agent $2,300. Now, let me ask you guys a question. If you were going to make $9,600 on the deal, would you be cool with paying someone $2,300? Give me a 1 in the chat if so. All right, that's good. Make sure you guys aren't greedy. So, guys, let me see if you're paying attention. We made $9,600. How many sheets of paper? How many sheets of paper did it take us to friggin' make $9,600 on this one deal? Yes, five. So look, because I really want you guys to understand this. This first agreement, three sheets of paper. That's the purchase agreement. The assignment contract, two sheets of paper. Five sheets of paper to make $9,600. Ladies and gentlemen, give me a one in the chat if you're ready to go out and do this stuff in real life. All right, so let's hop back in here. The beauty, the beauty of this control without ownership model is that you can literally generate revenue while you're still trying to figure things out. How many of you guys would love the opportunity to be able to generate revenue while you're still learning the business, right? Guess what? With traditional real estate, you cannot learn. Yeah, if you go out and you're trying to learn on the job, oh man, you might be going into bankruptcy. So now, secret number two, I've made millions of dollars using information that's readily available to everybody, yet barely no one uses. See, your ability to make life-changing money in this business is tied to your ability to find great deals. So here's the traditional way that people use to find deals. They rely on other people or they go to auctions. Imagine you going to an auction trying to get a property and you have to bid against like 50 other people. What are the odds of that? Or you go to a realtor, or a lot of people are just hoping and praying that a deal might somehow fall into their lap. All of these suck because you're not in control. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a little bit of a control freak. A little bit. So the new way, which is what we do, is we go directly to the people that we want to buy properties from. Now write this down. We're not really in the real estate business, guys. We're really in the marketing business, right? So we have to ask ourselves the question, who do we want to buy houses from? So here is a profile. We call this the ideal seller avatar. And after doing like over 500 transactions, this is essentially a profile of the people that are most likely going to sell us their properties. Okay, so the ideal seller avatar is going to be someone that's 40 plus years old. They've owned the property for 15 plus years, and they're experiencing some kind of distress. Now, what's distress? So distress means suffering, misery, agony, the state of being in great trouble. Distress implies an external or usually temporary cause of great physical or mental strain and stress. Now, here are what I call the distress categories. Either the seller is distressed or the property is distressed. Now, I'm using this word distress. I don't know if you guys remember this article from the beginning. Let's pay attention here, guys. Real estate investors, this is the article directly from the Wall Street Journal. I want to see if this starts to click for you guys. Real estate investors eye potential bonanza in distressed sales. A growing number of property investors are preparing for what they believe could be a once in a generation opportunity to buy distressed real estate at bargain prices. Also goes on to say these buyers are sitting on billions, so call that millions or billions of dollars of cash. Guys, so there are all of these buyers, these investors that have anywhere from hundreds of thousands of dollars if they're smaller, or all the way to millions and billions of dollars. and they are looking to buy distressed real estate. Give me a 1 if this is starting to click for you. So really, what's happening, this is where you come in, right? So we're not going out, we're not like reinventing the wheel. All we're doing with this model is we're supplying deals to these people that are already actively looking for them. So let's dive deeper here, man. I'm getting excited. It's funny, I know this stuff and I'm getting excited. So give me a 1 in the chat if you guys are getting excited. So look, there's 2 types of seller distress. One, you've got financial distress, then you've got circumstantial distress. So what's financial distress? Someone that's going into foreclosure, someone that's filed bankruptcy, or one of my personal favorites, one of my absolute personal favorites, people that are behind on their property taxes. Then you've got circumstantial distress, divorce, eviction, people that have vacant properties that are just sitting there that they might not have the ability to fix up. Probate. This is another one of my favorites. This is one that a lot of people know me for. And this is just simply people that someone has passed away, they owned a property, and now, in most cases, one of their family members is in charge of, liquidating, taking care of the estate. So now, you guys might have the question, okay, Ador, so how do I find deals? How do I find deals? So what we've got, this is what I call the deal formula, guys. I don't know what you got to do with this. If you got to snapshot it, if you got to tattoo it on your forearm, whatever you got to do, this formula right here, if you really take it to heart, you really implement it, this formula right here, C equals deal. So what this formula is, I'm going to break this down for you guys. What we do is we spy on a market via manipulation of public records. We then locate the high buyer activity areas. So that's the HBA, is high buyer activity areas. Then we select the appropriate list. That is the L in this equation. And then we implement the correct direct marketing channel. That is the DMC. Then we contact those owners. All right. So first thing here, public records. So I don't know. I'm not like the biggest fan of the government, especially with everything going on right now. But even before this, however, I'm going to tell you guys a gift that the government gave all of us. And this is a gift that a lot of people are not aware of. And this gift is called public records. So public records refers to information that has been filed or recorded by public agencies, and this is created by federal, local government. And the most important thing for us with public records is real estate records. So I've been manipulating this public records data for years to create insane profits in my real estate investing business. So I'm going to break it down for you step by step. So step 1, what we do, right? So this is how we get deals, guys. Pay attention, because if we get to the end and you guys are asking me how do you get deals, I'm be kind of giving you the side eye a little bit. So step 1, we acquire raw public records data of cash buyers that have purchased property in a specific area, right? So that area could be wherever, pretty much wherever you're trying to do this, whether this be in your backyard or all the way across the country, doesn't matter, okay? Then you can use this site right here to acquire the data. I'm gonna tell you guys what this is. So remember, I said to you guys that this is the best time ever to start real estate. Give me a 1 in the chat if you remember when I said that. So here's one of the reasons why. When I was starting out in real estate, like 2007, 2008, there wasn't much, like tons of resources available to me. But right now, you guys have so much friggin' resource so much friggin' resources, so much data, so much technology that it's ridiculous. So one of these is what we call PropStream. So here's the site right here. You can go to www.adoresdata.com, and my team can drop this in the chat as well. So look, here's what this is. This site, it's called PropStream, okay? So PropStream is basically a real estate records, public records data site, whatever you want to call it. And with this link, so go ahead, team, drop that in the chat. Drop the link in the chat, team. This link, and this is my special link, this will actually give you a free 7-day trial to PropStream, okay? So with this website, you're literally, and I'm gonna show you how crazy this is, but with this site, you're able to get access to real estate public records data literally for every market in the United States, right? So that link will allow you to get a 7-day free trial. Now, after that, I believe it's what, like $99 a month after that. Now, I'm gonna put that into context for you. For those of you that are like, oh my God, they charging for that? Personally, in my company, like just this year alone, we've made 6 figures just from data that we've gotten from this site, right? So the investment is well worth it, guys. So now, after we get the raw data, we manipulate the data to determine the high buyer activity areas. So remember, I want to stress this. We are not reinventing the wheel here, right? We only want to do business in areas where investors are already buying properties. Give me a 1 in the chat if you understand that concept. We're not trying to do business in like in the middle of nowhere where no one is buying houses. That defeats the purpose. Then step 4, we're going to select a list of distressed homeowners, right? And then step 5, we are going to contact those homeowners via direct marketing channels. Now, so I've given you guys the step-by-step, but do you want to see how we can like basically do this, like how this works in real life? How we can reverse engineer this whole process in real life? Give me a 1 in the chat if so. Give me a 1 in the chat if you want to see what this is, like how this step-by-step in real life. All right, let's do it. So I'm gonna pop out again here. Give me a second. All right, so I am inside of PropStream right now. Just give me a 1 if you could definitely see the screen. All right, so I'm logged in to PropStream right now. And once again, this is what you would get access to when you go to the link that my team dropped, which is www.adoresdata.com. So let's just say, for example purposes, let's say so we're logged into PropStream right now. Let's just say I want to do business in Memphis, Tennessee. So I type in Memphis, Tennessee, and boom, here's what pops out at you. So now, remember, step 1 is we want to get the raw data of investors that have purchased in the area that we're targeting, right? So right here, this is how easy this is, guys. I'm going to click this button that says cash buyers, and then I can filter this. I can literally filter this and go to ownership info. And what we want to just see is investors that have purchased properties in the market, like say over the course of the past 6 months. Okay. Now, right here, I've got this filtered list and it says 2,500 records, right? The beauty with this prop stream is you have the ability to export 10,000 records per month for friggin' only whatever it is, 99 bucks. It's like, it's ridiculous. When I was starting out, I was probably having to pay like around 25 cents per record, just to put that into context for you guys. So I could then literally click this and say add to list, create new, and I'm not going to fully go through this because I don't want to waste my data, but we can then download this list, right? Boom. So that is exactly how we would get the raw data. So now the next step is we are going to then manipulate that data, right? So here is the next step. So this is when you get your data from PropStream, this is what it would look like in the raw form, right? So you would get this in Excel and they would spit out an Excel spreadsheet at you. And here's what it would look like. Now, if you're looking at this, it's like, oh man, you know, this is great, but it's like, I can't really tell much by looking at this. Now, so this is the raw data. So what we're looking at right now, and we're going to get a little interactive here, so you guys better be paying attention. So let's say that we were looking at trying to do business in Berks County, Pennsylvania. And I'm using this example because I've never done business in Berks County, Pennsylvania, and I'm pretty sure that most of you guys have never done business in Berks County, Pennsylvania. Give me a 1 if that's correct. So here's our mission here. We want to determine what are the high buyer activity areas in Berks County, Pennsylvania. You guys, give me a 1 if you're down with that mission. All right. So let's see how quickly we can do this. So what we do is we take this data and we manipulate this data and we turn it into this right here, which is what we call a market spy tool, right? So this is our market spy tool that we basically use to visualize this raw data, because when it looks like this, you can't really do much with this. But when it looks like this, it's different. So let's break this down per column. All right. So in column B, this gives us the zip codes in which investor transactions happened inside of this county. And then in column C gives us the amount of transactions that happen per zip code. And then column D just gives the average sales price per zip code. You guys with me? So we see here, what's the most active zip code in this county? It would be 19602. Okay. Now, someone go figure out what, and you could use Google for this, what town or what city is covered inside of the 19602 zip code. Come on, come on, come on. Yes, Reading. Okay. Okay, so we got Reading. All right, so let's look at the second zip code on here. Okay, this is the second most active zip code, 19604. Somebody go pull that up. What's that? What town is inside of that? Reading again. Okay. So what are we learning? And I want you guys to answer this question because I want to see if you guys really are understanding this. What do we know about this county thus far? Right? So if we wanted to target Berks County, where should we probably focus our efforts at? Yes, Reading is the high buyer activity area. Yes, yes, yes. I love it when people are paying attention. All right. So now, what's the next step? So now we know, okay, Reading is where all of the action is taking place. inside of this county. So it only makes sense that if we want to go do deals in this county, we should focus on Reading, right? So now the next step in our process, somebody said it's clicking. I love it. I love it. So now the next step here is we need to go find deals, right? We need to get a list of distressed homeowners in this place. So I want to show you guys something. Let me pop out here. I want to show you guys this is a little quick article. Look at this. This is from the Los Angeles Times. And it says, home lenders brace for up to 15 million mortgage defaults. That's what's happening right now. Right now. So, and that's just as a result of just everything, with Corona and everything like that. So if that's a real thing right now, which means at some point, guess what's going to be happening? There's going to be tons of people that are, unfortunately, going to be going into foreclosure. That's just a fact of life. Now, let's go back into PropStream. So I showed you guys how to pull data for buyers inside of PropStream. This is why I said to you, what did I say? This is the best time ever to start doing this. So we can go, so we determined Reading was the hot spot, right? So we can type in Reading, Pennsylvania inside of PropStream. You guys with me? And I can click this button right here. What does this say? Pre-foreclosures. Inside of PropStream, literally, I just clicked the button and you've got 359 properties that are in the pre-foreclosure status. And guess what? This is gonna go up. As the months go by, this number is gonna go up a whole lot more. So once again, we can then export this list. And boom. So that brings us to the next thing. Let me pop back here. Now, so we've gone through this entire process, right? We've figured out, and how long did this take us, guys? We got the data, we figured out the high buyer activity area, boom, we then went into PropStream. Now we're able to then figure out how to target just one category of distressed homeowners. So right, pre-foreclosure, boom. Now the next thing, all right, what do we do next? So when I was starting out, like I didn't have like tons of money, for marketing. However, one thing I will say about myself, I'm a very resourceful guy, right? So I never really make excuses or anything like that. If I want something, and I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but if I want something, I'm gonna figure that thing out. So what I learned how to do is cold call property owners, distressed property owners, and that's a skill that's ultimately made me 7 figures over the course of my career. And literally, here's how crazy this is. All I was doing was literally picking up the phone, saying like, oh man, Miss Smith, I'm so sorry to bother you. I saw you had this property over 123 Main Street. And I know I'm catching you out of the blue here, Miss Smith. I do apologize, but is there any way, like any, way you'd be like interested in selling that property over 123 Main Street? And literally just going through conversations like that over and over and over again. And I know some of you guys, might be like nervous, might be introverted, damn near, hey, you might not even like people. But let me ask you guys a question. Would you be willing to cold call people? Give me a 1 in the chat. Would you be willing to cold call people if it meant being able to do deals like this? So in my hand here, I am holding a $77,000 check, right? Most people in the United States of America do not make $77,000 per year, right? We made $77,000 on this one deal that came from, guess what? The same exact process. I literally just showed you guys the process, right? I showed you guys the no cap process, right? And we did all of that just in real life, and that resulted in a $77,000 check. Now, I want you guys to meet Justin, right? So when I met Justin, and this is one of my students, he's actually working full-time for the school district. And one of his concerns with getting started was like, man, you know, Dora, I work full-time, I got a job. Am I gonna be able to really do this business because I have a full-time job? Give me a 1 in the chat right now if you got a full-time job. This is a guy, full-time job, working like 9 to 6 every day or during the week. And I taught him specifically, especially my cold calling strategies. And this guy was able to create a 6-figure business just on a part-time basis, while working for the school district. And he ultimately ended up making so much money that it just didn't make any sense for him to work his job any longer. So you can absolutely do this on a part-time basis, but make full-time friggin' income, right? Now, people are sitting at home right now. People are sitting at home. So you're literally just a phone call away from doing a deal. So do you guys see how you can use this process to locate deals in any market in the United States? Give me a 1 in the chat if so. And also, for those of you guys that are not in the United States, I do not know how laws work in Canada, the UK, or anywhere else. However, what you are able to do, you are able to do this remotely from all over the world. So I do know that. Now, I know you guys might be asking, oh, all right, you know, Dora, okay, you taught us how to find the deals. How do I find the buyers? How do I find the buyers? Well, if you've been listening, I've already actually shared with you 2 different ways to find buyers. Here's another way. Here's another way that's super free too. Facebook groups. So literally for almost pretty much every local market all across the country, there are real estate investor Facebook groups where there are active investors that are looking every day for deals, right? So right here in the screenshot, I typed in here, Philadelphia real estate investors, and look at all these groups here. These are groups that we have sold deals in just by literally getting in front of guys that are in the group that are already looking to buy deals. Give me a 1 in the chat if you can do this, right? If you get a deal, can you friggin' go to Facebook and put the deal there? Absolutely can. So now you might be wondering, why would these big buyers pay little old me just to find deals? Like, can't they do it themselves? Like, why would someone pay me especially if they have all this money, right? Here's the thing. You got to start thinking differently about time than you do right now. So you got to value time a lot differently. So what most investors are doing, like their day to day, they're managing contractors, they're managing their portfolio, they're raising money to buy more properties, they're building relationships with banks and lenders. It simply comes down to time and convenience. As long as the numbers work for them, these investors don't care if you're making $10 on the deal or $20,000 because you save them time. So the truth here, guys, is a combination of public records data plus being able to cold call is literally a lethal, and when I say lethal, I mean like Mike Tyson type 1-2 punch that can have your bank account overflowing with money. Now, secret number 3, you can get people to sell you their house without ever meeting them and without having any prior real estate or sales experience. And I know some of you guys are going to be nervous about this. Like, how does this work? Let's go. So look, with the traditional wholesaling, here's how most people do traditional wholesaling. A seller, they get in contact with a seller, they talk to the seller, and they realize, okay, the seller is looking to sell the property. So they then set an appointment with the seller to go see the property. And then that's where they try to make the deal happen. is physically at the property with the seller. Here's the thing. This process is very highly inefficient. Let's think about this. What if the seller calls you on Monday? They are friggin' ready to sell. It's a super hot lead. It's Monday though, and they work like 2 jobs and they can't meet you at the property till Saturday. If you get a super hot lead right now, guys, on a Monday, are you trying to wait till Saturday? Let me know. Let me know. Man, you guys might be rich. I don't know. Absolutely not. Also, you're limited in capacity. Think about it. How many sellers can you really meet with over the course of a week? And also, what if it's a friggin' pandemic going on? People like me will beat you to that deal every time. So you might be asking yourself, all right, so how do I get someone to sell me their house over the phone without physically having to meet them? So I did this deal, and this is a while ago. So I've done a lot of deals, guys, and most of them, I'm be honest, like I totally forget about, but there's some that like I'll never forget. And this deal is one of them. So this is South 55th Street, and this is a property in Southwest Philadelphia. So several years ago, I get a call from a guy that owned this property. His name is Mr. Barksdale. So Mr. Barksdale calls me, and probably within like 5 minutes of this phone call, I realized something about Mr. Barksdale. I realized he was a big Philadelphia Eagles football fan, okay? So for me, I grew up in New Jersey, right? So I'm not an Eagles fan, but I take great pleasure in like teasing and jabbing Philadelphia Eagles fans. So I say to this guy, man, you know, the Eagles suck, right? And and like this started like just a whole back and forth thing. You know, he's talking this, I'm talking that. And before you know it, we on the phone for like 30, 35 minutes. You know, we talk about sports, family. You know, he told me like the whole history of the property, how his mom bought the property, all this stuff. So for this deal, we actually, because we built like a really good rapport, we actually decided to meet at the property, and especially because he hadn't seen the property in years. So we meet up at the property. I get out of the car, and it's so crazy. I'd never met this guy before, but we like embrace like, you know, we're like cousins or something like that. So we walk up to the door, and he takes his keys out, opens the front door, and oh my goodness, guys. So once again, this guy hadn't seen the property in a long time. So this guy opens the front door, and we are met by just this terrible smell. The house is jacked up. The pipes have been stripped. There's holes in the roof. Turns out the family members that he let stay in this property were full-blown crack addicts, and he was not aware of it. So this is not what this guy was expecting to see. So this is just what we see from the front door. And this guy turns around, he gets a little bit emotional, he takes the keys out, and he turns around to me and says, Adora, look, I can't do this. This is not what I was expecting. Look, I gotta go. He turns around, he gives me the keys to the house. And he's like, yo, whatever you wanna do, whatever the number is, like the house is yours. I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. This was my mom's house. I didn't expect it to see it like this. And he gives me the keys and he pulls off. Keep in mind, guys, I never met this guy before. We didn't have a contract in place, but he gave me the keys to the house. So fast forward, we ended up putting the property under contract for $2,000, and I sold that deal for $12,000. But what really happened there? At the heart of this deal was rapport, right? So what's rapport? Rapport is a connection or relationship with someone else. It can be considered as a state of harmonious understanding with another individual or group. So ultimately what that means, guys, people do business with other people that they like. So if you can get someone to laugh if you can get someone to talk about themselves, if you can connect with people, whether that be via sports, fashion, the weather, where you grew up at, whatever, your chances of doing that deal just drastically increased. Let me tell you guys, one of my favorite, and this might sound funny, but one of my favorite categories of people to do business with, older black women. Older black women love me. I've made a lot of money by doing deals with older black women. Why? Because they probably see me as like their son or grandson that they never had. You know, like I'm able to build relationships with them, you know, get them to laugh, you know, talk about a whole lot of different stuff. I've done deals with older black women where I wasn't even the highest offer, but they still decided to do the deal with me, right? So how our process for getting deals over the phone is what I call spam. Not the meat, but spam, which is the Sonya phone acquisition method. This is like a process that I developed, and to be honest, I didn't like develop this for like you guys. I developed this for my actual company, like when I started like hiring people to work for me in my business to do this, right? Because that's like the next step. Once you guys get in the game and you start making good money, the next step is going to be, okay, I need to start like hiring people, right? So here's the first step in the process of being able to acquire deals over the phone. You guys got your notebooks, right? Step one, we are building rapport, right? And asking strategic questions to determine their pain points. So what's a strategic question? A strategic question could be something like, so Miss Smith, man, this sounds like a great property. You know, why are you selling the property, by the way? So then from there, we're able to connect and isolate that pain, right? Or agitate that pain. So like, for example, if someone tells me, man, I'm selling this property because I got these tenants, the tenants aren't paying, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pile on top of that. Say, man, don't you just hate that? Don't you hate those tenants? I don't know what's wrong with those friggin' tenants. They get in your property, they don't pay this, that, and the third. So what's that gonna do? That's basically just like, you know, peeling that scab, so to speak. And then we're able to create solutions. So guess what, guys? We are problem solvers. All we're doing is we're creating solutions for people's pain, and in exchange, they will sell the property at a discount. Here's an example of this. Check this out. This is a U-Haul truck. Why am I showing you guys a U-Haul truck? So we had a deal that we did a couple months back, okay? And it was an older lady, and one of her issues was, so she lived in Philadelphia, and she needed to move to Connecticut. But it was just so much going on in her life that she could not, she just wasn't able to connect the dots with moving, this, that, and a third. So here's what most people will do. Most people say, okay, let us know when you figure it out. Guys, we don't do that. We create solutions. So what did we do? We said, look, Miss Smith, and I don't remember her name, but let's call her Miss Smith. Miss Smith, here's what we'll do. We will pay for a U-Haul truck for you, and I will pay some guys that will actually drive you all the way to where you need to go so that you don't even have to worry about it. And guess what? This lady was like, all right, where do I sign? Boom, done deal. Guess how much? We ended up making $19,000 on this deal. Literally, all we had to do was create a solution, and that solution cost me less than $1,000. So let me know, would you guys, I spent $1,000 to make $19,000. Would you guys consider that like a good investment? Give me a 1 in the chat if so. Now, so how do we figure out what to offer the seller? So step 3 in this process is what we call deal analysis. So we're going back to PropStream. So guys, I've showed you guys how to use this thing. I've showed you guys how to use PropStream to find buyers, find distressed sellers. Guess what? With PropStream, you can also do deal analysis, which is basically determining what to pay for the property, right? So what we do when we're trying to figure out what to pay, what to offer the seller, all we're doing is we're looking at what other investors, right, slash cash buyers paid for the property. And here's what we then do. We base our offer at $10,000 to $15,000 below what other investors are currently paying. That is how you build in your projected profit. That's very important, guys. So if we see that investors are paying, let's say $50,000, what are we going to offer, guys? If we see investors are paying $50,000, we are going to offer 35 to 40 so that we build in our profit so that we can then sell that same deal to those investors that are currently paying 50. Give me a 1 in the chat if you understand that. So inside of PropStream, right, you can literally type in an individual property address just like this, right? And you can see what the other properties in that same area have sold for. This is crazy. Once again, guys, this is why I say this is the best time. It's the best time to do this because there's so much technology and data available to you guys. And then the next step is we then acquire the deal via phone, right? So once the seller has agreed to our offer, once they've agreed to our offer, it doesn't stop there because all we have is a verbal, right? So what do we want the person to do after Miss Smith has says, yes, I will take your offer. What do we want to happen next, guys? Yes. So there's this concept that I love, which is called money loves speed. So guys, when we get somebody to say yes, the next step is we need them to sign on that dotted line. We're not trying to let them go somewhere. No, we need that. We need their autograph on that contract, right? So we want them to sign. So remember back in the day, I used to have to fax my contracts to people. Well, guess what? We're not doing that anymore. So right now, I run my business on one platform, right? And this one platform literally changed my entire business. Literally changed my entire business. With this one platform, I'm literally able to manage like every facet of my business from A to Z. And it's called it's a software called Podio. And this is a software that probably, man, over the last several years, I have spent probably at least $10,000 just paying like different developers and computer guys, because I'm not that smart, guys. I'm not a computer wizard, to like do like different customizations and stuff like that. Let me ask you guys a question. You guys want to see what it looks like, how we use this system to basically get someone to sign on the dotted line? Give me a 1 in the chat if so. Give me a 1 in the chat, or I'll keep going, you know. Give me a 1 in the chat. You want to see what it looks like, you know, after someone has agreed to our offer, basically how we're able to use that principle of money loves speed. Okay. All right, let's go. Give me 1 second here. And give me I've been using 1 a lot. Give me a 3 in the chat if you've been getting value thus far. Give me a 3 in the chat if you're loving this stuff right now. All right, oh man. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, give me 1 second here. All right. Let me know if you guys can see my screen. All right, so we are live inside of Podio right now. So look, I've taken the liberty to create a lead in here, a seller lead, and the seller's lead is his name is Michael Jordan. Okay, so this is how this looks, right? When we get a seller lead, we're able to manage that lead inside of this system, right? So everything, we're able to take notes, everything that they said, the stage of the lead, everything, right? So right here it says he's interested. Right here, down here, we can put their phone number, their email, the property address. So this is Michael Jordan's property address, 5466 Spruce Street. And this is what he told us about the property. It's a 4-bedroom, 1-bath, so on, okay? So now, let's say, all right, Michael Jordan was asking $87,000, and we then made him an offer of $50,000. And Michael Jordan said yes. So what do we do next? And this is the beauty of this system. Check this out, guys. So I can literally push a button right here. I push this button, and it creates an item inside of an application that we call the contract fill app. So what happens when when the seller agrees over the phone to our offer? This is what happens next. We don't want to let them off the phone. So we're going to say something to them like, hey, Mr. Jordan, I appreciate you accepting our offer. The next step here is I just have to put together the agreement of sale. I'm going to actually be able to send that over to you. What's your email address? So boom, you get the person's email address, right? So here's the Michael Jordan's email address right here. And then inside of this app, we're basically going to create a contract, right? So you'd put your name here or your company name, either or. The contract price. So let's say Michael Jordan agreed to $50,000. Put $10 earnest money. We can select our title company here. Property county, Philadelphia. And during this time, I'm be like doing a little bit of small talk with Michael. I'm like, man, Mike, I just saw your documentary on ESPN, man. That thing was really inspiring, man. I didn't know you were that crazy back in the day. So we put this information in, boom. Then make sure I've got all the correct info. Now I'm gonna tell Michael, all right, look, Michael, just go ahead, open up your email. So here's Michael's email. All right, you guys see this? So here's Michael's email. Then I'm gonna click this button here. I'm gonna say send contract. All right, so I'm gonna click this button. And it's gonna do some little magic on the back end here, right? And let's go back to the email. Look what we have here in Michael Jordan's email. Adore Sonia sent you a document, purchase contract. So I'm gonna tell Michael, all right, boom, go ahead, open up that email, click that blue button, boom, Michael's like, okay, cool, I see it. And when he opens this up, boom, here is the agreement of sale with all of the information filled in. Can you guys see this? So you got Michael Jordan, here's the property address, here's the purchase price, everything. So all I have to do, all right, Mike, go ahead, review the agreement, put your initials in on the first page, put your initials in on the second page, put your initials in, or sign the third page, boom, date, and initial again, Michael, and you are right there. All you got to do is hit submit signature, and voila, Michael has executed this agreement of sale. Then it comes over to us. Then all we got to do is sign it. And guess what, guys? We have a completed agreement of sale completely over the phone. You guys see how that works? So now, let's hop back in here. All right. So the truth is, guys, if you have the ability to connect with people or simply tell jokes, build rapport with them, you can get them to sell you their property. So let me ask you guys a question. Who in here, without a shadow of a doubt, knows that they are ready to go out and wholesale houses in real life? Give me a yes if so. Give me a yes if you know that this stuff can like absolutely like change the financial trajectory of your whole entire life. So let's recap here. Let's recap. So thus far, just in our brief time together today, thus far, I've showed you the non-traditional wholesale real estate strategy that allows you to legally flip all the houses that you want by simply controlling them with just a few sheets of paper. I've showed you with this model that you can actually make more than traditional real estate investors who actually are buying and fixing the house. You've seen how you can literally do 4 to 5 figure deals by cold calling distressed homeowners. You've learned how we can quickly identify those high buyer activity areas. And you've seen just a handful of dozens of success stories. And you've also learned how we're able to get people to sell us their property completely over the phone. You've also seen the exact contracts that we use to control these properties that we don't even own. Now, let me ask you guys a question, a couple questions. Do you absolutely feel like you're ready to go out and start doing this? Give me an amen if so. It's Sunday, man. Give me an amen if so. Do you realize the advantage that you have by simply possessing this knowledge? Do you realize that most everyday people do not know any of this stuff, guys? Are you happy that you showed up today? Can you see yourself using this strategy to go out and close wholesale deals every month? Give me a hallelujah if so, man. Let's go to church a little bit. Even if you just used a tiny fraction of what I showed you, would you say that this time was well spent? Or would you rather have been like watching Netflix? Now, let me ask you guys a question. Would you like to spend even more time together, like in real life, going deeper and deeper into how you can make $5,000 to $20,000 plus per month flipping houses? Give me a yes if so. So you've literally got two choices, right? I've shared with you, and I'm gonna be real. I've shared with you just over the course of this training what a lot of people would charge you good money for, right? So you absolutely have the ability to go out and try to go about this the solo route. I'm gonna be honest with you. You've learned there's some people that pay for like $30,000 coaching programs and have not learned what you guys have learned today. So that is an option. Or the second option, would you rather do it together? Would you rather get coaching and mentorship with someone that's been doing this for 10 plus years? Give me a yes in the chat if so. Would you rather do it together and get step-by-step direction in real life on how to make this happen? Just like Brian did, where he made $16,000 on his first deal. Would you like to do it together just like Ben did, where he made $8,000 on his first deal? Would you like to do it like Anthony, He's holding a $5,000 check in his hand. Would you like to do it like Fred? He's holding an $8,000 deal. Or would you like to do it together and get big bucks like Arthur, where he says, I just closed my biggest deal to date, $20,000. Or would you like to do it like Leo? $7,500 on his first deal, all the way from South Korea. So if you guys are ready to do this together, I would like to introduce you to my remote acquisitions 4-week accelerator coaching program. So the purpose of this program is to teach you step by step how to find, analyze, and contract on deals over the phone while making $5,000 to $20,000 per deal. So this is a full immersion course digging into every facet of how to build a remote wholesaling operation. That you could do this whether you're doing deals in your backyard or all the way across the country. Does not matter. Over the course of 4 weeks, I'll show you how to do this step by step by simply showing you how I've been doing it for over the course of 10 years. So what this will do for you is give you the ability to go out and create the best asset possible, which is a business that can sustain you regardless of what's happening in the economy. So here's what you're gonna get. Part 1, the actual course. So module 1 of the course, you're gonna learn how to lay the foundation for your wholesaling future. You're gonna learn how to do the marketplace research. This is where you're gonna figure out where the high buyer activity areas are. Then module number 2, now that you know where the high buyer activities areas are, you're gonna become a deal finding ninja. I'm gonna show you my top deal finding strategies so that you can go out and find the juiciest deals that your competition has no idea about. Module number 3, once you know how to find the deals, I'm gonna teach you how to acquire those deals over the phone. I'm gonna teach you my spam process so that you can become a beast at smoothly locking up deals over the phone. Now, when you know how to lock up deals over the phone, now you're gonna learn how to get those deals sold for top dollar. You're gonna learn how to negotiate with buyers, how to find buyers, everything. So who's this training for? If you're a 9-to-5 person and you're looking just for another way, you're tired of that, this is absolutely for you. If you're looking for financial freedom, or if you're an experienced investor looking to diversify and level up your business, or if you're simply looking to supplement your existing income, maybe you just want to do this on a part-time basis. So that's part 1. Part 2 is weekly coaching in the community. So you don't have to worry about, here's the issue with most coaching programs or courses. You buy something and they like maybe send you some manuals or some videos, and then you're on your own. This is not like that. This is a one-of-a-kind coaching accelerator, right? So this program, I'll be working with you directly. Not only are you getting the course, but then we have weekly coaching calls and a private Facebook group, right? So on our live coaching calls, you get the answers to all of your questions so that you can get maximum clarity so that you know exactly what next steps that you need to take. So after working with hundreds of students for over 8 years, I realized that most people were missing 4 things: training, strategy, real life coaching, and accountability. So this program gives you all of that, right? So we got the live weekly coaching calls, and then you get access to our awesome community via our private Facebook group. So our group is crazy, guys. We got people taking action. You get access to like-minded individuals just like yourself. Now, so what you're gonna get, the remote acquisitions course, that's a value of $2,500. You get the remote acquisitions coaching calls and private Facebook group. That's also a $2,500 value. Now, you don't have to worry about not knowing exactly what to say, because you're also gonna get all of my scripts, which will show you step by step what to say to sellers in every situation. So if you want to master the art of talking to homeowners so that you sound like a professional, even though you've never done this, then this is absolutely for you. So you're going to get the course, $2,500 value. The weekly coaching calls and private Facebook group, $2,500 value. And you're going to get all of my phone scripts. So that's a total value of $5,400. Now, I want to reward those of you that take fast action. So we've got a couple bonuses for you, right? And these are what I call fast action bonuses. Bonus number one, so you guys got you guys saw the done for you market spy tool that we use to basically quickly assess any market. We're going to create that for you, right? So you don't have to worry about trying to figure out, oh man, does this make sense? Like all of that. We're going to create it for you so you don't have to waste time with that. Bonus number two, we're going to give you our live audio vault. So how would you feel if you were able to hear audios of me and my team actually acquiring deals over the phone, and you were able to hear those conversations so that you know exactly what to say? You're going to get that as bonus number two for signing up today. And the contracts. People ask me for contracts damn near every day. So I'm going to give you guys the same contracts that we use, our attorney approved buyer and seller contracts. And these are your fast action bonuses just for signing up. Now, let me ask you guys a question. If all this did was help you get one deal, would it be worth it? If all this did was help you get one deal, give me a one in the chat if so. If all this did was finally allow you to finally start the real estate business that you always wanted, would it be worth it? Give me a one in the chat. If all this did was help you find deals that you never knew existed, would it be worth it? So I had two choices here. Choice one was charge like a super low amount so that everyone can get in. But let's be honest, guys. When people charge like super low amounts, are they really giving you much value? No. Or the other option is charge slightly more so that I can stack the value and give you tons of attention. So you can see why it would be a good deal at $15,000, or even if it was $10,000. The normal price of this program is $2,997. But since you guys are with me live today, you're actually going to get a 33% discount. So you guys can get signed up today for only one investment of $997. One investment of $997. All you have to do is go to www.thesanyamethod.com/special. Once again, get everything that I just talked about for just a one.